All right, we are live, folks.
Hey everyone, it's my pleasure to host another Pop Fly Pop Shop interview. We have Daniel here, the artist and CEO of Pop Fly Pop Shop.
Hey,
And
guys.
we have Tommy John in an airport spending some time with us. Thank you for your time, Tommy John.
You're welcome.
If you maybe are a Tommy John fan and you're not sure what this is Pop Fly Pop Shop. And once a week, Daniel here does a comic book style cover. And this week it is Tommy John. So you have to go on popflypopshop.com. It is only available until Sunday. And you can get the Bionic Man. And there's an autograph option to have Tommy John himself autograph it. Daniel, I noticed right straight in front, you put a lot of his incredible accomplishments. 19,692 batters, 4,710 innings, 288 wins, 26 seasons. Tommy John, any of those stats and accomplishments stand out to you?
I didn't know I faced that many hitters. Well, I knew how many. I knew how long I'd pitched, and I knew how many games I won, and I knew all this. But no, it's fun to hear all that stuff and see it in a comic book art.
Yeah, Daniel, you don't usually put the stats front and center. What led you to decide to do that in this style?
Well, I think it was important to me, Tommy, his name is synonymous with a very famous surgery, but I wanted to highlight there's a Hall of Fame career right here, and that I want to bring that front and center beyond the surgery that bears his name. There is an incredible career.
Well, I tell you what, I had fun doing it.
Well, your longevity stands out to me a lot, Tommy John. One thing that blew my mind is you were the opening day starter for the White Sox in 1966. And then 23 years later, you're the opening day starter for the New York Yankees. How does that longevity, how is that important to you?
Well, back in the day, my dad told me, he said, work hard, train hard, and you'll be fine. And he was correct.
Well, easy to say that. Really hard to be the opening day starter 23 years apart. I wouldn't be shocked if Sixto Sanchez is the opening day starter for the Marlins this year, but there's no way he's going to be the opening day starter anywhere in the year 2045.
No, because his metrics wouldn't work. No.
Daniel, on that cover, I really gravitated towards the red bubble. If you could blow that up. And Tommy John, it just really paints you as sort of a comic book hero here, where it's almost like you just disappeared and then came back a superhero. Daniel, where did you get this text from, and what led you to depict this?
Well, I found this text on the web, and Tommy describing the sensation, of his arm. And it's such a great, like, kind of in comic book terms, an origin story of kind of how he became the Bionic Man. Because up until that moment, there's an amazing career. Then you have this defining fork in the road that happens here. Not even aware that it's a fork in the road. Just kind of like there's this traumatic event here for any pitcher. And then for him to be able to pivot and come back from that and have another amazing career after that. This really just smacked of a great origin story.
Have you viewed yourself like that, Tommy John, as a superhero, where you sort of disappeared for a year and came back with a new mysterious power?
No. I disappeared for a year, and I came back after working my fanny off to get myself ready again to pitch. And that's all I wanted to do was pitch. And thank God I pitched well enough to do what I did. But, that's all I wanted to do was pitch.
All I wanted to do was pitch. I love that. And I should have mentioned, if anyone wants to get a question in, we'll try to get that question to Tommy John. Looking at your career, Tommy John, you have the 7th most wins by a lefty pitcher in MLB history. The 6 guys in front of you, they're all in the Hall of Fame. Is really those 12 wins from 300? Is that what's keeping you out? I mean, that seems so minuscule.
It is. I have my own ideas as to why I was left out, but we won't go there.
Okay.
But I know, but I'm almost 100% positive I know why.
Wow. We will let you tell that story on your own when you're comfortable. Daniel, you noticed an interesting stat. How many no decisions did you say Tommy John had?
188 no decisions on top of 288 wins.
So 108. So maybe 188 times, Tommy John, maybe a win was taken away from you. Not to degrade your team, but with something you had nothing to do with. I mean, you're telling me 12 of those situations, your Hall of Fame status was determined by other people? I mean, is that really what we're talking about?
Basically, yeah. Yeah.
Well, we are here live with Tommy John in the airport, popflypopshot.com. Go there. This is only available until Sunday, and then it is retired forever. You can get your own Bionic Man, and for another option, you can get him to autograph that himself. Tommy John, you had 3 playoff complete games, 1 for my Angels and 2 for the Dodgers. That one of the complete games in the playoffs was a shutout with the Dodgers. Looking back, is that one of your apex games of your career, that shutout against the Phillies?
That was in 77, right?
78.
78. No, the best game I pitched against them was in the playoffs in 77. I beat Steve Carlton in a rainstorm at Veteran Stadium to win the National League pennant for us.
Oh, okay.
But I don't recall the shutout.
You had a playoff shutout, and a couple of years later, you had a 13-inning shutout effort with the Angels. They blew the game as soon as they took you out.
13 innings I pitched?
You pitched 13 shutout innings on the Angels, and then they took you out, and then they got to the bullpen.
Holy, I didn't realize that. Wow.
Daniel, someone mentioned, and I'm a little clueless on this, about a cast in the Smithsonian on the cover that you depicted. Can you enlighten us? Sure.
I was lucky enough to have a little bit of inside baseball on this one, but the Tommy's cast from this famous surgery just a couple days ago was donated to the Smithsonian Museum, and so in the bottom left by the barcode, there's a little iconic looking graphic of a cast plus the sun from the Smithsonian Institute.
What can you tell us about that, Tommy John?
That just happened last night.
Last night, you hear that, Popfly Universe?
I did an event for Phil Cuzzy, a major league umpire for ALS, and I had toyed with the idea of giving it to the Hall of Fame, but I asked them, I said, am I in the Hall of Fame? And they said, no. And I said, then you're not getting my cast.
288 game winner, Tommy John, 7th most all time for a lefty. His cast is in the Smithsonian, not the Hall of Fame. So do the right thing and put him in, and then he'll give you some of his memorabilia, right?
Absolutely.
We have to mention the obvious surgery. I kind of joke around, Tommy John, that your name is talked about in baseball more than Babe Ruth, because as of right now, 25% of major league pitchers have had the surgery. If you go to a baseball game, there's an 88% chance that you're going to see a pitcher who's had the surgery. 57% of the surgeries are on 15 to 19-year-olds. It's not like you're William Wrigley who invented the gum, and so your name's attached to it. Your name got attached to this surgery due to no consent on your own. What does that feel like, knowing your name is attached to this thing?
Well, Dr. Job did the surgery, and how it got to be called Tommy John surgery is when he would give talks about the surgery, he would say, you know, the ulnar collateral ligament replacement surgery with the palmaris longus tendon.
Not as catchy.
And it just didn't flow off your tongue. And then I started saying, you know, the surgery I did on Tommy John. And all the doctors went, oh, yeah. And then they just dropped it down to, you know, Tommy John surgery. And voila, I was born.
So, Tommy John, what do you say to the parent of like a 13-year-old who says, let's throw 100 curveballs a week and we'll get to Tommy John when he's 15 and his arm will come back stronger? What do you say to that dad?
I would get a scalpel. I would cut the father's nuts off.
Woo! You heard it here on the Pop Fly Universe.
Let a kid be a kid, you know.
Amen. Yep.
Play the game, play baseball, play football, play basketball, play all the sports. And then when you get older, if you're good enough, you'll get better and you'll go on. But, you know, gosh darn, come on.
I love it. That's from the man himself. Go to popflypopshot.com. This is only available until Sunday. There is an autograph option. After this interview, I don't know how you could not get the autograph and commemorate this occasion. Daniel, something else that I love on here is you have the phrase, the double play machine. I have a question for you, Tommy John. So you got a lot of ground balls as a seeking fastball pitcher.
Right.
How do you decide so quickly as a pitcher who's now a fielder, do I go after this ball aggressively or do I let it go to my shortstop or second baseman?
Well, if I've got that much time to think, I better get it and throw to first base and get an out. But usually the balls they hit on them, they will hit a little harder. And I just ground balls seldom go for home runs. And that was my whole thing. Stay away from the long run.
Well, you did it. You got the ground balls. That's an art that general managers are desperate today. They want strikeout ground ball pitchers. Stay away from the home run. You pitched in the AL before the DH, and then you pitched in the AL after the DH. Do you have a reflection on that experience? And are you pro DH, anti DH?
I'm anti-DH. I think that when you pitch, you should be able to pitch, you should be able to hit, you should be able to run the bases, you should be able to slide in second base. But as I thought I saw someplace that they're going to have the DH in the National League next year too. If
that's the rumor.
Mm-hmm.
Did you miss hitting as a pitcher?
Hey, I had 5 home runs and no steroids either, guys. It's sheer strength.
No, I looked at your stats. You had 1 pinch hit appearance. Do you recall that? And how the heck did that happen?
I have no idea. It was probably they wanted me to go up and bunt more than likely because I was a good bunter of the ball.
And that's a lost art with position players now, not just pitchers, correct?
Well, they don't. Yeah. It's not done.
Well, we are here live with Daniel Horine and Tommy John. We have the Bionic Man. This is available only until Sunday. It is the double play machine. He had Davey Lopes and Bucky Dent and Bobby Grich behind him, and he threw up those double plays like no other lefty. Daniel, do you have a fan question that has intrigued you?
I do. Let's see. Let me grab it up here. It is from Tommy John superfan Ted Doyle. He says, when, not if, Tommy's elected to the Hall of Fame, would he be happy to be inducted with Thurman Munson and go in together?
Absolutely. No question about it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is there another question you want to hit, Daniel?
Let's see.
You know, as you look for one, I noticed you depicted Tommy John as a Yankee here.
Mm-hmm.
When you look back on your career, Tommy John, are you a Yankee? Are you a Yankee, Dodger, Angel, White Sox? What do you view yourself as in your head?
I was a major league pitcher. I played eight years with the Yankees, 7 with the Dodgers, and 7 with the White Sox. And you know, whatever somebody wants to call me, as long as they remembered my name and maybe buy me an ice cream bar.
Daniel, do you have a last word for this legend before we let him get on his plane?
Sure. Steph asked, are you a fan of interleague play?
Yeah, I like it. I like it. It's, but I don't like the DH.
Well, at this point, I think we're all going to just settle for having baseball, if that's possible. Tommy John, thank you for your career. 7th most wins of all time on a lefty. Hall of Fame, do the right thing and put this man in there. We're not going to see the longevity of his career with anyone again. We did Rod Crew a few weeks back, so we can put these two together from that awesome Angels playoff team. Tommy John, any last words for your fans?
I didn't hear you. The people are talking over you.
Do you have a last word for your fans?
Beg your pardon?
Do you have just a last message you want to give your fans out there?
Yeah, if you're whatever team you're a fan of, be a fan of that team. Whether they're champions or last place or first place or whatever, root for them.
That is a good word. Tommy John, thank you for being willing to do this and to autograph these covers. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Tommy.
That was Tommy John live in the airport. Yeah, the longevity of his career, that's what is really standing out to me. I'll say it again, 23 years apart from opening day starts. That is incredible.
Truly.
I liked his word there on stick with your team.
Mm-hmm.
Tradition I always have is the day after the Angels are eliminated, which since 2002 has been every year. I wear my Angels hat the day after they're eliminated every year to make it a point of, hey, I rep this hat no matter what. And I tell people, if you want to look for a good spouse, look for someone who stayed dedicated to their team, not a fair weather fan.
Truer words have not been spoken.
So what led you to Tommy John, Daniel?
Well, if you think about the big story of baseball, you cannot escape Tommy John. You know, you made a great point. He's probably mentioned more than Babe Ruth in a day-by-day basis, you know, and so he is, yes, because of the surgery as a big part of it, but when you tell the big story, when the big story of baseball is written, you know, there's going to be a chapter on Tommy John.
Yeah, I love your depiction, and he did a good job about making sure we didn't shortchange the hard work he put into that off year. Mm-hmm. But it has a very Captain America ring to it of you have this guy who is hurt, and then this thing happens, and he comes back with this like super powers. Mm-hmm. I love your angle of that.
Thanks. This one was fun because there was a balance that I wanted to walk. I did want to highlight his career. He put in a whole lot of hard work as he mentioned, and I didn't want to shortchange him on that. So I wanted to bring that front and center, but also he has a story meant for a comic book hero. You know, if you took out some of the specifics of the story, you know, man doing his job had a we'll call it an accident and disappears and comes back different than how he left. You know, that could be so many comic book origin stories if you take out the specifics.
Oh, I love that. And man, what a cool honor that you're the first piece of art to display his cast going into the Smithsonian. This is a couple times now. Popfly has had the big break to the world.
Yeah, that was fun. I put it on there before I was allowed to say anything about it. So I was curious if anyone was going to ask me, what's that thing in the bottom corner there? But no one asked. But I was happy to share afterwards. You know exactly what it was.
Now, I'm a little too young to know the Bionic Man. I didn't watch that TV show at all, but I'm definitely catching some Terminator 2 vibes in here.
Yeah, for sure. You know, a child of the '80s grew up in the '90s. You know, the Terminator is part of my, you know, my psyche. So it was definitely a place that I looked at too for inspiration here. Even as we go back to that iconic scene in Terminator 2, you know, you've got Arnold looking at his hand. You know, that's very much of like what we have here.
Well, go to popflypopshop.com. This is only available until Sunday, and then it is retired forever. There is an autograph option, which, man, this guy's a hoot. So I don't know how you could just listen to him talk for 15 minutes and not commemorate it with that autograph. So I highly recommend to get that autograph. He's got to go in the Hall of Fame at some point. I mean, the stats are there. The longevity is there. And you have the aura of his name all over baseball with the surgery. So it's a peculiar one to me to have him not in.
Totally agree. It was a great point you mentioned too about the lefties. You know, the line of the winningest lefties ahead of him, all in the Hall of Fame, and the line cuts off at him. You know, he has to be let in at some point.
Yeah, and I looked too at the you can look up any baseball player, and it will give you like the 10 most similar careers. And I looked him up. So both righties or lefties, and like literally everyone around him is in the Hall of Fame, other than a guy like Roger Clemens, which there's steroids allegations.
Sure.
So I don't know what metric, other than the fact he just isn't at 300 wins, which just seems like such a bizarre obsession with a round number.
Yeah, totally.
Well, Daniel, after a lot of teasing, there has been a potfly conversation of football. Can you tell us what in the world is going on?
Yeah, this month we're going to see some stories being told about potfly and football. It's been something we have been thinking about for a long time, and just kind of waiting for the right moment, the right time, and it felt like it's now. So this month we're going to see our first potfly release with the pigskin.
This month. So in February, it's going to happen.
Yes.
And you're going to do a football player. I'm clarifying, making sure.
Yes. We'll see. Well, baseball is not stopping, but football will be also a part of it as well.
At season 1, issue 1. All you potfly fans out there, how many times have we seen it in the chat? Oh man, I saw the Will Clark and the Murph. I didn't get it and I kicked myself. You have the opportunity to get season 1, issue 1 sometime in February. How do we know when it happens so it doesn't slip past us?
I would sign up for for our email list on popflypopshop.com. There's also an SMS list that you can also join as well. Actually, there's a banner. Let me turn on the banner real quick if I can here. I'm glad that you asked that. Text potfly to 833-221-4099.
There
this is a quick and easy way to join it if you're watching and following along right here.
Season 1, issue 1 will be coming out in February. Everyone take note. I want to share a football memory. You were, let's say, middle of the pack football in terms of athletic ability. Is that fair?
That is as generous
I'm being kind, yes.
as a description as I have ever heard. Yes.
You had the height, so you could jump over people. But yes. I distinctly remember, this is grade school, you like a Nerf turbo in your hands. All of a sudden, you could throw the thing 300 yards. And I remember that you had the Nerf whistler. The whoosh.
Yep.
Everyone remember that? That is my football childhood memory with you.
For some reason, like the mechanics of throwing a football at that age, I was just able to dial it in, and I was able to just throw it from one end of the field to the other one. I'm curious. I'm afraid to try it now. I feel like I would be down for the week, but that was a lot of fun. We played flag football as a kid for school, but it was a lot of fun. I'm glad that you remembered a singular moment of any sort of athleticism of mine as a kid, because I certainly was not what you would call an athlete, to put it lightly.
You're an artist, so clearly, that's a rare gift to have both. So what led you to do football as your next adventure as opposed to basketball or hockey?
It's a good question. Part of it was I had to start somewhere. And as a kid, I think football probably resonated the most after baseball because I did play football as a kid, for sure. And so there is some amount of institutional knowledge there, from being a kid. And there is, from doing baseball, there is a lot of. Let me back up. In doing baseball, I realized that the whole big story of baseball is the same as it is for sports. There's heroes and there's villains and there's underdogs and upsets and good guys, bad guys. So it's all there, and it's just really inspiring to dig in to the game. So I'm really, really excited just to explore some of the stuff that's just been kind of maybe floating around in bits and pieces in my mind, and really dig into and to find the stories to tell.
Well, I know a lot of people have been asking for this for a while, so ask and you shall receive. Baseball is continuing, which I'm happy. So Tommy John is going, and it is retired on Sunday. And the following week, there will be a new baseball. Yes?
Yep.
So baseball is continuing. And at some point during the month of February, let the debate and the conjecture begin on who that first football person is going to be.
Yeah, there's some comments here. Put them in the chat. Who do you think the first one is going to be or should be?
You're going to give us a decade maybe, or an era, or?
I will give you nothing.
I had to try. Nice. Well, it's nice. Football is in the air. Super Bowl for us local kids is in our hometown, which is weird because we had no football in Southern California for, I'm going to guess, I don't know, 20, 25 years or something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's back.
Yeah. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. I know it's a stupid response to what you said, but I've come to enjoy so much of just what sports has to offer, like in general. Doing baseball, I realized there's something for everybody here. Like if you love math and numbers, then there's a place for you at the table of sports. If you just like the aesthetics and the nostalgia, there's a place for you at the table. If you just love the tribal connection and the competitiveness, there's a space for you. So it's just been such a fun journey with baseball, and it's really opened up just how I view baseball and sports in general. And so it's just I'm really, really looking forward to this. I've had such a fun time now with 70 plus baseball releases, and now doing another sport. There's so much story out there, and there's so little that I've scratched the surface of, and it's been a blast with much more to come.
What names are getting thrown out down there? Do you see any?
Oh my gosh, you don't have to ask. Bo Jackson, Ray Finkel, Anthony Munoz.
Laces out!
Yep. John Madden, Barry Sanders, Walter Payton, Fred Blitnikoff, and Bo Jackson and Bo Jackson and Bo Jackson.
Now you're going to get asked for Bo Jackson on two different sides.
Times 2 + 1. Yeah, I'm going to say this. I'll be very transparent here. I would love to do Bo Jackson, but I'm holding out until I can work with Bo Jackson himself. So there won't be a Bo Jackson release, I don't think, until I can either definitively say I'm going to do it both Bo Jackson, or Bo Jackson does not want to do it with me.
All right, everyone, you hear that? So if you have a connection out there, if your cousin mows Bo Jackson's yard, or your auntie does Grubhub to Bo Jackson's house, get the word, get us on his radar, because I want my Bo Jackson print.
I do too.
Two of them.
Someone just the other day asked me, like, if you had a dream player that you could work with, who would it be? And first answer out of my mouth, Bo Jackson.
All right, I'll throw a couple of my guys. I think a Doug Flutie football one would be cool. So if I can, as a fan, I'll just put my name in that. I'm going to ask for a Doug Flutie print. But let's get back to baseball. I don't know what's going to happen because normally after the Super Bowl, I get really excited because when our pitchers and catchers reporting, and that still has not been decided yet.
Yeah.
So I feel like after the World Series, there was this, hey, it's a lockout, but we've got months and months to work it out, and this is when you want the lockout to happen. And now it's kind of getting crunch time where I don't know. What's your feeling? This may not go on time.
I don't know. I think I'm in the same spot as you. Is like, oh yeah, there's a lockout. I'm sure they'll get it resolved because everyone involved wants baseball to happen, and they still want baseball to happen. So I'm still hopeful for that because they all want the same end goal to some, like in some ways. But it's sort of getting scary a little bit. So yeah, I don't know. I don't have. The optimist in me says, yeah, they'll figure it out. They'll figure it out. They wouldn't let it last this long, but I didn't think they would let it last as long as it is today, So
yeah,
big question mark there, but I am an optimist, so I'm going to hope for the best. And the shortened season, if we must, I'll take it. But hopefully we get there.
Yeah, I think regardless of what one feels about the DH, I think it's a good sign that they apparently agreed to something. So it at least shows that they are talking. And I don't know, the last time we had a strike, I know this is a lockout, but when we had a strike, I mean, really the home run chase is what saved baseball, which looking back now, we see that wasn't fully authentic. But that's not going to happen again. So, like, I hate to say it, but the next generation doesn't really care about America's pastime and apple pie and games that last over 3 hours with lots of dead space.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if baseball is going to survive being a top 3 sport if there is a significant lockout at the end of a pandemic. People are just not going to accept that.
Yes to all of that. I don't know what's going to save baseball, especially now, especially if it eats into the season. I'm no one saw that home run chase coming. I didn't see that home run chase coming. So hopefully there's another unseen something. Again, optimist in me, but there's another thing that we aren't thinking of that it's going to save baseball because it's not the owners at this point.
Yeah. Well, let's remind ourselves what is going on in the Pop Fly Pop Shop universe. We've got the Tommy John print only available until Sunday. Get that autograph option. Text Pop Fly 833-221-4099 to make sure you don't miss that football drop because you have that unique time and experience to get issue 1 of season 1 and not kick yourself again. Maybe one last question, Daniel. You did a variant 2 weeks ago with the Cubs. Where did that come from, and is that ever going to happen again to have a variant cover?
It came from working on two versions at the same time, and I do that often. I'll have an idea, and I'll go towards that idea, but in working it out, another idea comes, and so I'll split, and so I've got literally 2 on my screen, and I'll go back and forth, and I know eventually one will win, and that will become the Pop Fly. And 99% of the time, I'll settle on one and just keep going in that direction, and I won't finish the other one. It's like, okay, this one is won at some point before completion. But this one, I took them all the way to completion, and I like them both.
Nice.
So I didn't want to leave one on the table. So I thought, well, let's do something fun, hopefully fun with it, and take a page out of how comic books do things. They are variant covers of comics, and they are a limited run of those variants. And so I thought I would just try something fun with that and release them both. And the variant, there was a number of those, and those went out very quickly.
They did, and I want to commend you on Pearl Jam is my favorite band, by the way, and they take great effort to make sure that their tickets get into the hands of the fan. and they do as much as they can to not let scalpers get them. It's not 100% possible, but they do all that they can. And I felt like Popfly, you guys handled the getting people access to the print, but it's still a free economy. I think you've thread that needle so well.
Thanks. It's hard, you know. It's a hard balance to walk, but I appreciate that very much. You know, there's a couple questions for us.
Oh,
Evan.
yeah. For you, but go ahead.
No, for us. And I'm curious to know this for you. Scott Walker asks, who was your favorite football team, Daniel? And who was your favorite football team, Evan? Do you have an off-the-cuff answer there?
I'm not a football fan, which is why you're not going to see my involvement with the Popfly football angle. I'm going to watch as a fan like all of you, but I can't say I've ever really been a football fan.
Mm-hmm. As a kid, though, did you like? You see, I'll go backwards. I'm probably in the same boat. It was a peripheral sport to me. Like baseball was my thing, and I also had some football cards, and I went to some football games, and I had like some jerseys and stuff. But the 49ers, especially like 1989.
Oh yeah,
certainly a bandwagon fan at that point of the 49ers, and with Joe Montana and Jerry Rice. You know, like they were so cool. So I was my first answer would be 49ers, but 100% I was a fair weather bandwagoneer.
Sorry, Tommy John.
I know, but also Boomer Esiason. I don't know if you remember this when we were growing up, Evan, but I really enjoyed from the Bengals, Boomer Esiason and Ickey Woods. In our touch football games as a kids, you know, you get a touchdown and you do the Ickey shuffle. And one of my earliest memories revolving around sports, football was probably on my radar first, but did not grab a hold of me the way baseball did. And as a kid, I really liked Danny White as a child from the Dallas Cowboys. And I had Danny White pajamas. Yeah, I did. But then again, 87, 88 came along, like football. Baseball came along, and I was just like full speed ahead with baseball for sure.
Yeah, I love the Bo Jackson, Marcus Allen tandem was captivating. I agree. The 49ers, the Rice and Montana, Barry Sanders. And I've always liked bad teams. Like I just gravitate towards the underdogs. I remember wanting the Lions to be good and just them never, ever even being decently good. But yeah, I can't say I've ever been a football fan of a team.
Were you in a college?
I did like SC for a long time, even when they were terrible. And then just, I think growing, having kids and growing up, I didn't have the space to be that guy who's into every sport. And so pretty much every sport, but baseball sort of faded away when I got married.
Yeah. Yeah. I think for me, very similar. It's faded away at some point to me, and then rediscovered it later on. And that's actually one thing that I've learned is the story of a lot of guys and girls doing this Popfly project. Is there was sort of a hibernation period for the last several decades, and maybe it's the pandemic, maybe it's something else, but there's been a reacquainting and rekindled love for baseball, and it's something I've heard a lot from throughout this last couple of years, and it's exactly my story as well. Cool. And Scott Walker also says, yeah. So if I can get those Danny White pajamas, I really appreciate it. So on it. Thanks, Tom. My name, say as a kid, my name was Dan. I was known as Danny at the time, so I was like, "Oh my gosh, this guy has the same name as me." So cool.
I do remember playing Techno Bowl with you, where I banned you from being Lawrence Taylor. I think it was.
Lawrence Taylor. Yep.
You would just sack every time. I'm like, it's not fair.
Yeah, Lawrence Taylor was a machine. It was not fair. I do remember having like the no Lawrence Taylor rule as well, and Bo Jackson as well would just
yes.
It's as if no one else was on the field. You just go wherever you wanted. Gosh, I could go for some Tecmo Bowl right now.
Let's do it. Mark Ramhall, where are you at? Were there any other questions you wanted to get to?
Let's see. Someone suggests I should do Tom Brady, but he's going to come out of retirement soon because I usually do only retired players. So we'll see. We'll wait on Tom Brady. Let's see. There's a lot of calls. Let's take to Twitter to get this on Bo's radar. So
go, David, get it going.
I will not stop you. Please, let's get this on Bo's radar. And Rod Carew happened via Twitter. Wade Boggs happened via Twitter. I would love to say Bo Jackson happened via Twitter.
Bo would break the universe.
He would.
Bo and Popfly coming together.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Daniel, do you have any other thoughts about anything you want to share with the Popfly universe?
As always, just super thankful. David just tweeted it to Bo. Wayne love it, saying Bo, Bo, Bo. So I'm with you there. I'm a fan. I'm a fan as well. Like I'm cheering for Bo to happen. So let's make it happen. But thank you for moments like this where we're chatting and people take to Twitter in the middle of our conversation.
Yes.
To make something happen. So thank you for that. Thank you for the desire that I have. Danny White Pajamas. Thank you for the support. This is a fun journey, and doing risky things is a lot of fun in this project, and showing players in a light that they hadn't been shown in is a risk for them as well. Also, Tommy John, I'll mention him. You know, his first inclination was not to do something as comic book as this. And so there was a conversation and getting to the release the way it was, and getting him to take that chance. And I'm just super grateful for those moments. It's a lot of fun, and I can't wait for baseball.
Hopefully it gets done. Yeah, 3 years ago, if we were told you guys are going to talk to Tommy John on the airport phone, there's no way I would have believed you. But
sounds
because
like a fever dream.
Well, thank you for making that a reality. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on this Super Bowl Friday, where baseball can still get attention, but yet football has creeped into the Popfly universe. So Keep your eye on that. Have a fun Super Bowl Sunday. If you want my degenerate bet recommendation, Sony Michel on the Rams. The bet line is 12 yards. Take the over. Guaranteed. Book it. See everyone.
Bye.
Next interview. See you guys.
See ya.